Alright, to start out, it says to shade in 1/2 of the square in at least 6 ways. So I'll start out just doing one way. To begin, I like to count how many small squares are in the shape. So if you make some lines, you don't have to make the lines. Then I can see there are 16 smaller squares in the big shape. So half of that would be 8, so all I have to do is shade 8 of them. So I can do that anyway. Maybe shade this one, and that one, that one, and that one. And I have 4, and then I'll shade this one for 5, then half of that one and half of that one. That'll make 6. And then this one right here, 7, half of that one, half of that one, and then 8. So I've shaded in 8 out of the 16 squares, so that's half of the square, and that's one way to do it. You can do simple ways or creative ways. For the next part, it says to determine what fraction of each flag is shaded. I'm going to start out with number 3. So number 3 looks like it would be 2 out of 3 because you can count that there's 1, 2, 3 pieces total and 2 of them are shaded. But what we see here is they're not all the same size. In fractions, when you say 2 out of 3, it means 3 pieces that are all the same size, and 2 of them would be shaded. These 3 pieces are not all the same size, so it doesn't work like that. One thing you can do is you can draw in an extra line so that now you do have 4 pieces that are the same size, and we see 2 out of 4 of them are shaded. So the answer for this one would be 2 out of 4. But that is just a simple, there's a simple way of saying that is just 1/2. So 1/2 of that rectangle is shaded. That'll be my final simple answer. I'd also like to take a look at number 8. So if you look at number 8, you might first think, okay, well I can just count up how many shapes there are until there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different sections, and 2 of them are shaded, so you might be tempted to write 2 out of 10, but these sections aren't all the same size. So one way you could do it would be to split this up into all shapes that are the same size, doing maybe something like this. You see we're going to end up with a bunch of triangles. You could count to see how many there are total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then count how many of them are shaded. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So your answer for this one would be 4 out of 24. And a simpler way of writing that is just 1 out of 6. So 1/6 of this rectangle up here is shaded. Another one I'd like to talk about is number 10. So maybe it's not possible for you to divide up all the shaded pieces into equally sized shapes, but one thing you can do is you can just count how many squares are in the whole entire rectangle. So for this one I'm going to use some multiplication to figure that out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 squares along that side, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 times 4 is 32. So there's a total of 32 squares in that whole entire rectangle. And then you can count how many squares are shaded in. Now it's a little tricky with triangles because some of them are cut in half. One thing that I want you to notice is that if you cut this triangle in half, then you can move it and put it up here. And so I'll erase that so we can just see where it got moved to. And then if you take this triangle plus the one you just moved, then it forms a rectangle, and that's easy to count how many squares there are. So if you count how many squares there are for that, then you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the original triangle that we were trying to figure out right here, this one back here, has 8 squares that are shaded. So I'll just write down that number. So 8, so 8 squares here. Now I have to figure out how many are in these other triangles over here. So I'll erase everything. Now let's figure out how many squares are in this triangle over here. Once again, because it's a triangle, it's harder to count the squares because some of them are cut in half. But if you just take this triangle down here and imagine it being moved so that it's up here with the purple triangle to form a rectangle, then it's easy to count both of the triangles at the same time. So let's see how many. It would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 right there. So altogether, we had 8 from this triangle over here, and then these 2 triangles over here, this one and this one, combined to make 16 squares. 8 plus 16 is 24. So your final answer for this problem will be 24 out of 32. So running out of space, 24 out of 32. And then a simpler way to write that, if you simplify, is just 3 out of 4.